This is Political Core, the non-PC edition of The Aaron Cruz Show, where you decide the topics. The only place where you get the news you want from the people you trust. We are your balanced and accurate information resource.
Hello and good evening, everyone. This is the Aaron Cruz Show, Political Core. I am your hostess, Aaron Cruz. Thank you for joining me this evening. So tonight's show is Donald Trump. Whew, the movement. Yes, you are right. It is a movement. It's not stopping with national headship. No, it's going across the nation to the state level, to the local level, and completely sweeping the country. Absolutely. I have no doubt that Donald Trump is breathing life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness into communities nationwide. I have zero doubt. What is proof of that? If you had listened to yesterday's show, Straight Talk with Aaron Cruz, you might have heard about the CAGOP convention, which was recently held this last weekend. It was actually a phenomenal event, met with a lot of Republicans who had voted Donald Trump. It's exciting, I know. And I think what's most exciting about it is to see and to hear that so many are revitalized throughout the different counties in California. Yes, not Californication, not combination, nothing like that. No, we're talking about throughout different counties in California. People have come together. Millions voted Trump in the primaries, also in the general election. And they came to the CAGOP convention with one thing in mind, which was to try to come together and to find common ground to lead California back to a place of prosperity. And unfortunately, that was met by the good old boys. The good old boys in the CAGOP who, push comes to shove, and they don't like to be challenged, unfortunately. So what do we have now? We have a clear vision of, one, what we need to do in California to get this state back on track. Two, that sets a roadmap for virtually every other blue state across our great republic. Basically, we have many states that have been, experiencing an influx, such as Washington, Minnesota. We have even Iowa was infiltrated by many refugees sent there to basically muddy the waters and start to dilute the beautiful and wondrous United States of America that you can so clearly see across that state. It's been sent there to dilute that state. So we have that. We also have different places in Colorado that have had an influx of liberalism that is just overwhelming. We see also in New York. New York is completely taken over in many areas. Not all. I'm not going to say that every area has been impacted, but many have. We've seen also in New Jersey. We've seen it in New Hampshire. I have really close friends or girlfriends or patriots who are in New Hampshire, and they're fighting tooth and nail to get order back in that state, to bring that state back to a place of prosperity, capitalism, and get that state working again for its people. Reduce size and scope of government. That's what we want. Is it that simple? I don't think so. So back to the CAGOP and the California Convention, the CAGOP Convention. Wow, we have a lot ahead of us. But one thing is clear. There are many Republicans, and even independents who weren't showcased there. Many who voted Trump, many who see prosperity on the horizon, who see the benefits of our country putting itself first. Sounds good to me. Now, we have some great news, and this is Political Core. So what we like to do is we like to get to the root of the issue. The root issue. And how do we do that? We have to look at what's really going on, okay? We have to take the time and really look at it. What we've seen, just I would say in the last 24 hours, is we've seen Corker, and we've seen Flaked. All right, he's running for Senate, and I think the heat got just too hot. He can't handle it, and he's getting out of there. Now, what I would like for all of you to do before you get way too excited about these people dropping out of the picture is to really look at what's going on here. And what I would like to say is just how Bannon decided that he had to do things outside of the White House. There are individuals in the Democrat Party who are all too keen about bowing out and taking care of business where they can. And I see Corker. I don't see him just disappearing, and neither do I see Flake disappearing, okay? So let's get to the political core. What is the issue here? The issue is this. We as an American people have lost texture, okay? We've lost, or shall I say, not all of us have lost texture, but many of us have lost sight, okay? We have lost sight of what's really important. Your families, your loved ones, your communities. That's where the texture is, okay? And if we focus more inward instead of outward, what's going on the surface, focus more inward, when we take a look, we can begin to see things that need to be worked on. And I know, I hate to say, look in the mirror, but let's do that because our republic will be better for it. So let's look within ourselves, within our households. What can we do as citizens? What can we do as families to make our communities better? How can we build the relationships in our community that tie us together, that tie us to one another, make them strong and valuable, so that way, when the breaches come, we're ready. One of the ways is to get plugged in. And I know here in Southern California, we have a great network, and I'm connected mainly online because I have a real difficult time traveling around sometimes, and I have a lot going on. But when you get plugged in to those life sources, and I'm not just talking political life sources, it can be church, it can be spiritual or faith-based groups, that provides stability, and that stability will leave us unshaken, okay? It also gives us a network to minister. And you may not be faith-based, you may not believe in God or what have you, but even ministering in terms of being a good person and being a good citizen of the country, and whatnot. I think that the more we reach out, the more we reach in, the more we can effectively reach out, yes? So take a look at your network of people. Are you going to church? Are you communing with others in your community? Are you getting together? Are you tied in to things other than work? Because as we've seen it with the NFL, yes, as we've seen it with the NFL, nobody wants a protester on the job. And of course, certainly there's a time and a place to impact your world, and there's a time and a place for politics, or shall I say, lack thereof. Yes? So, NFL. I want to talk about that really quick. I posted tangent here, and I know this is political core, and we want to get back to that deep issue, which is family. But I want to talk about the NFL. So we saw, I posted on Merit of Truth blogspot. That's my blog. If you go to erincruz.com, you can take a look at it. I posted a little blog post about it's phenomenal. So at the last part of this last year, NFL saw a 12% decrease in numbers. And throughout the sixth week of the NFL season, I think several of the articles were from October 9th through October 17th or 18th, we saw an overall decrease in ratings by 6%. That is huge. And I will attribute that to the American public saying enough. Enough on the football field of your protesting, enough of your $1 million whining. Get back to work, entertain us. We work hard. You get paid a lot of money, a lot more than the average American. Get back to work and start entertaining us. So that is great news. The not so great news is seeing, oh my gosh, if you look at that blog post, I put in the text, I put the links to the actual sites I pulled information off of and quotes from different individuals within the specialty and fields. But if you look in there, literally the highest of high people, literally their spin is saturation of the market. One of the ideas behind the decrease in viewership is the fact that the market is saturated, that there's an inability, okay, for people to get direct access to the NFL, or that maybe they aren't filtering things properly and they are not properly tracking or getting the viewership that they want in certain areas because there's so much coverage of the NFL. Now, how do you spin when you are the MSM in the highest of ranks? You spin quick and fast and subtle. Do you really think that there is a saturation in the NFL viewership market? I sure don't, because the networks are pretty tight, and I'm sure they've guarded heavily against any kind of how would you say, saturation of the market. They aren't dumb. They're in it for the billions and billions of dollars that they're making every year, okay? They've got to pay these millions and millions of dollars to these players. Naturally, they would guard their interests. Yes? Big money, big interest, twisting hard and strong. Not for you, not for me. But to CYA and to FUND, they're million dollar football game players who like to kneel. The other interesting thing I did talk about in that article was how several of the teams, if you want to call it that, several of the teams have seen a viewership increase, which I found to be phenomenal. It is really quite intriguing to me because, why? Some of these teams happen to be teams that don't kneel. Common denominator there, or any kind of inkling as to why some teams have, well, let's just say, suffered greatly in terms of viewership, and other teams are doing excellent. And actually, I think it was 4% increase in one of the team's viewership, yes? So what that tells me, I'm just a layman, and NFL isn't my specialty. It certainly is not. But I like to explain what I see and share with all of you, as I have for years, what I translate this into, and that is we are driving interests. Okay, we're making impact. One of the biggest things that we can do is continue to do so. And so what I ask of you, and I'm sure you've seen this online, and there's been kind of a national push for this, is to say no. Say no. We want entertainment. If you want to protest, do so on your own time. We're paying you millions of dollars to entertain us. Do it. Do your job, just like I had to do my job. My buddy had to do his job. My husband or my wife had to do their job. Do your job and play the game. And if you want to protest, do so on your own time. Strike. They could do that, they could go on strike. They'd have to have an excuse to do so. Now that the NFL has pulled the card and said basically, you can kneel if you want. Basically, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot when your viewership goes down, because they just don't want to see it anymore, because they don't want to see crybabies who are making billions of dollars anymore kneeling in disrespect to the flag over something that they should be protesting in other ways. But you can do it if you want to shoot yourself in the foot. And of course, they still do. So What's the natural trajectory there? Hopefully, a couple of teams who will do really well will be the ones who don't have a tendency to kneel. If that's not the case, then I see and I foresee a national push to boycott the Super Bowl. What better mechanism, okay, do we have but to tell if these political animals want to take what they consider a racial-based maneuver onto our all-American football field, okay, where everyone gathers, where children are at, where we can pay one of our highest respects to our flag and our country and singing the national anthem. If they want to take it that far, then maybe, just maybe, they need to see the outfall, which is they don't get a paycheck. Or the NFL suffers such a defeat where it actually has to start acknowledging the fact that, and Wall Street even, who basically in my article also said something that related to the fact that it probably didn't have anything to do with Donald Trump or the national anthem, but maybe, just maybe, if they see a major push, they'll have to acknowledge that, look, the American people want respect to the flag, respect of country, all of those people who served, some gave all. American people are fed up with million-dollar crybabies pitching a fit instead of doing their jobs. Yes? And so this goes back to our political core, which is the fabric of our American families. And when I think of American football, this does tie in. When I think of American football, when I used to go to games with my family and also my parents when I was young, I was in awe of the music, of the flag, the patriotism, the different aspects of tradition that were put to display for the all-American family who were in attendance or those visiting here to see on display. I was in awe. And never once did my parents have to explain to me why somebody might be getting on their knee and why people might be booing. We need to be proud of our country. And this isn't about nationalism. This is about this isn't about nationalism, really. This is about fundamental value systems, fundamental belief systems that we have as a nation, being proud of where we came from, being proud of where we're going, building a country that other immigrants can come to legally and reap the benefits of generations. Yes? It's something that we as American citizens, it's at the very fabric and core, the core of who we are, to build through American excellence, nothing less than something great. And I believe, I truly believe, in my heart of hearts, that traditions that are played out on the fields all across America, be it the National Football League or Major League Baseball, whatever sport it might be, those traditions, they're passed on to generations, the pride that comes forth. We see it on display in our Olympics too, where each country comes to put forth their greatest, their most reputable and well accomplished athletes and compete. Not so we can say, oh, we're the best, because the proof is in the pudding. There are first, seconds, and thirds in life and in the Olympics. There are winners and losers, but it's also how you play the game. And we learn that. We learn that as small children. We learn that through going to places like a football stadium or a baseball stadium, or sitting at the dinner table talking with mom and dad about what we've heard at school that day, or what we might have seen on our way home from school that day, or what we've talked to our friends about. The fabric of our society is starting to unravel. And we have an opportunity right now, as Corker, and Flake have displayed. We can mend that fabric. We can. And it's not about getting rid of Corker or Flake, but it's about them possibly, the heat is turned up. They see that we have 7 more years, God willing, 7 more years of Donald Trump and taking this nation back to a place of prosperity and excellence for future generations, not for ourselves. This, I think a lot of people are so self-indulged. They think that it's a selfish act to want to put America first. And it's not. It's for our children and our children's children, and also for immigrants who come over time legally. This nation has provided a foundation for families who are in need. I saw something that I think is important to mention. I wouldn't say it was a pastor, it was a priest, and I forget his name and I don't have it right here, but he said something so profound. And he said it was important to differentiate the difference between economic migrants and refugees. And that, to me, that said so much. You want to know why? Because there are people who need America. There are people who need America. And it's not just to come here. Okay, it's not just to come here. When we work, when our economy flourishes, when we are strong as a nation, when we can provide for our own, when we lower our taxes and put more food on our tables, we can provide for our families. They sense security. That breathes life into the family unit. We can then spend the money on providing for our families and that money pours back into the economy and it comes full circle. Less taxes, full circle, yes? But when we do that, we also consume many goods, much of which are provided from various nations across the globe. Just look at tags inside of clothing. It's not just made in the USA, made in China. As a matter of fact, I'm boycotting China. Many I know are for goods, for reasons, many reasons, and we can go into that in a different time. But when you look at the tags inside of even just clothing, you'll see Indonesia, you'll see Malay, you see all sorts of countries across the globe. It's not just Italy, or it's just not just, as you would call it, they're developing nations is what they are, but really what it is that we as a nation feed the globe. And when we are strong, the world is a stronger place for generations to come. And I think another thing that people lose sight of, and when you look at your own children, you have to think about this and the global mentality that's being pushed on them, okay? All right? When we look at our children and we look at the other kids who come to this nation for education, okay, students who are international students, they're here to learn. It's important to impart that they're here to learn, to go home, and to strengthen their own nation. And this is part of that America First, Citizens First objective that Donald Trump has talked about so gallantly. There is a reason why they are a visiting student, international student. We send them back with skills for their home nation. And many say those nations don't have hope. They don't have the ability to pay them on scale. Well, they have skills. And what better? America was built from the ground up from patriots who fought. Okay, many of my family are from England. Okay, so I do England, Scotland. Ireland, Scotland. But many of the people who came here fought hard. My family came and they worked in agriculture. They built up the agricultural system in Illinois. Okay? Blood, sweat, and tears, hard work from nothing to something. So we might have soy, so that we might, I think that's many of the crops they had, soy and other items, okay? Families fought hard to build their lives here. And even some people who are still here, first and second generations, who started from nothing and built their lives into something. And the important part is they did so legally. But for those who can't come here, for those who have to go home to their nation, the word is this: build your nation up. The prosperity, okay, the prosperity and the promise of now democracy. We have a republic here in the United States, and I'd like to state that too. And I know I talk about this often. We have a republic here in the United States. But what I want to mention is this: prosperity, the hope of opportunity. Equal opportunity does not mean equal outcome. Going back to a nation with little resources, it will take everything. Just as the founders of this nation started from nothing. And many of the settlers and pioneers started with nothing and built. I would like to call upon the nation's leaders for peace, because it's not just the American family suffering and bearing the burden of struggles, financially and otherwise. We're having to start again with 20 trillion on our shoulders, insurmountable debt hanging over our heads, and trials like tax reform and health care reform, pushing for socialism when we know globally socialism does not work. So what I would like to do is I would like to call on government leaders to encourage that you promote peace through strength and effort in your people, providing them the opportunity and environment to prosper. It will never be easy, even for Americans. We have so much, and I'm not complaining here and saying it's not easy. I'm sitting here talking to you on a mobile phone and doing a video recording. I have a mobile phone. I have electricity. I have a food over my head and food on. I have a roof over my head and food on my plate. I have clothes on my back. But with that, we have our own struggles. If we go down, the world will suffer. We must expect that not just American citizens be holding themselves and their families responsible and building up from within and repairing that fabric, but that the world carries its own weight. We can't. American taxpayers can no longer carry the world on its back. We can't. We won't. And that was part of what hiring Donald Trump was about. Him setting the record straight and saying, we're not going to apologize for America anymore. And the world needs to get its act together and start taking care of its own people. Treating its people properly and allowing for opportunity for its people to prosper. And for that, me, myself, and many, many Americans are so grateful to have Donald Trump as our president of the United States. And we can't even, I can't even personally imagine, this is year one. He's shaking things up. Yes, it can be a little frightening, especially when insurers are like, well, we don't know what we're going to do. Ooh, the market is getting a little unstable. We don't know what's going to come, but one thing is for sure. We know the American taxpayer can no longer support the weight of the globe. We won't. And Donald Trump is going to enforce that. He's going to solidify the fact that the American family is putting itself first, as it should. As every other nation has put itself and its people, well, some countries put its people first, or its interests first, that's for sure. So back to the political core. The core is this. We as American citizens, and you as people of the world, we have an opportunity to care for our families and breathe life into the future. As American citizens, we have an opportunity, and in liberal states especially, there is momentum like we haven't seen in generations. There is momentum. We have to push. We have to be brave. And we have to stand together, united, against regimes that would like too much to see us fail, who would like too much to see socialism flourish and drag us down and knock us out. We have the ability, with the bringing in of Donald J. Trump, to do this, to fight. I saw yesterday something from one of my friends, and I love her. She's a dear woman, dear patriot, and sister in Christ, and daughter of the great Lord Jesus Christ. It's just, she's a wonderful woman, wonderful woman. And I saw she posted about Bannon, about him leading the movement, you know, for a better America. No. I was wrong. I stated no. Donald Trump is leading the movement. No. I was even wrong there. You know who's leading the movement for a better America? For a better world? Because if we are better as a nation, then we will have a better world. You know who's leading that fight? You. Me. We are. We are leading that fight together. We only have to recognize and realize our strength in numbers to overcome what the Democrats essentially have put forth. That is a win that we just can't have. For example, here in California, that is absolutely 100% wrong. They couldn't be more wrong. I don't care if they have 60% of the vote in the last election. If we as the American people, as Californians, come together and determine that no, we want our state back, we have had enough of the socialist, progressive communists in our legislature making unconstitutional laws and allowing people to use our resources and abuse our taxpayer money. We've had enough. We are going to take this state back. I can guarantee you that the numbers don't lie. We can do it. But we have to talk to our family. We have to talk to our loved ones. We have to talk to their friends. And we have to understand the power of conversation. We have to understand the movement and how our energy and our communication with one another is so vital in taking this state and our country back. One city, one county, one state at a time. Because right now we have the top, but as we see in Congress, we have a long way to go. Month 10, no tax reform. Month 10, no health care reform. The fabric of our families is being torn apart because money, food is off of our table. And I've said, and I will say it again, it's high time we take this nation back. I've said it for 9 years. And right now we have the momentum. We have the leadership. In many, many cases, we have the leadership to do so. We just have to make a move at the local level. and the familial level, the communication level. And I'm not going to say what Barack Obama said, which is get together at Thanksgiving and everybody have a conversation about healthcare. No, I'm not going to say that. But I will say that I believe that the future of this nation is in our hands, and we can't help but address the issues which are here and to help repair the fabric which holds us together, which is the family unit, and communicate and push the votership over so that way we can sustain the great lifestyles that we have and provide for our future generations. Yes, there's a lot of work to be done. So in last night's show, or yesterday's show, I put some links. I will put some links in this show as well for you to reach out and get involved locally. I suggest getting involved with Tea Party sites as well as Heritage Action, a few others that I'll put in there where you can get information. Also, please make sure that you go to my website, erincruz.com. I have a resource page on there. I also have a blog on there. I have my archived videos for you as well. Feel free to dig around. Send me a message if you have any questions. And if you ever need anything, you can also let me know. I'm here. I may not get back to you right away, but I'm here. And I will get you any information that I can that might help. If I don't know what it is that you need based on what you communicate, I'll try to find somebody to put you in touch with that can help you. That's how we're going to change this thing around. It's communicating with each other. Having that conversation. Rebuilding the fabric of the American family and relationships nationwide. It comes down to me and you, the American citizens. Yes. So again, I'm going to do what I do every show, and I'm going to give you the phone number to Congress. The phone number, so you can get a hold of them, is 202-224-3121. Sorry, I had to look at my little paper. But that phone number is 202-224-3121. I should have it memorized by now. In any case, you can also go to house.gov or senate.gov to look up your representative or your senator. Find any other references you'd like or you need. You can find those on my website. You can also go to whitehouse.gov. I know many people don't like going to that website, but there is a lot of information on there. If you have a question about a speech that Donald Trump's given, every one of his transcripts is on there. Okay, you can look up what he said for yourself. Don't be fooled by the MSM. Don't be fooled by your neighbor who reads you the latest blurb they saw on the screen of their internet when they were logging into their email. Don't be fooled. Be informed. Be empowered. Be enlightened. Yes? So again, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight for the Erin Cruz Show and Political Core. Please join me this next Thursday evening from 7 p.m. to about 8 p.m. For the Queen of Politics. I also do a YouTube video every Friday night at 8 p.m. If they won't let me upload, I will upload it as soon as I can, if I can. I've had some issues there, but we will keep going. I will continue. They're not going to stop me. Big media is not going to stop me. We are working on many, many more projects. Please look out for my new book, which will be coming. I have the release date. It's so exciting. I will be sending out an email to my Insiders Connection list. If you go to my website, erincruz.com, you can sign up for the Insiders Connection. You'll just get an email here and there about what's going on with the book, my book tour, and different events that are coming up. It's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be revolutionary. I'm really, really excited to share with you some of the things I've learned and some tools to help you get through day-to-day life. Yes. So please look out for that as well. Again, thank you for joining me tonight. God bless you. God bless your family. And God bless the United States of America.
To hear more and to learn more on how you can make an impact, or about Political Core and The Aaron Cruz Show, visit us online at aaroncruz.com. That's ERINCRUZ.com. Thank you for joining us, and see you at the same time and the same place next week.